The Police Minister Bheki Cele has announced an increase in crime statistics in the second quarter of 2021. A total of 6,163 people were murdered in the country between July and September this year, an increase of 20.7% compared to the previous term. South Africa also reported 9,556 rapes in just 3 months, an increase of 600 compared to the same period last year. Joining me in studio now is SAPU Deputy General Secretary, Mr. Peter Ntsime. Mr. Ntsime, a pleasure to have you on the program this afternoon. Now, you cite a lack of political will in the fight against crime, and judging by the kind of numbers that we are seeing, it would point to a crisis, for a lack of a better term, in the fight against crime. Indeed,
and good afternoon, and thank you for having us. It is very clear. One needs to accept the fact that we are losing it. Crime is high in this country. Not even in a war-torn country. You will see more than 58 people being killed, and we want to normalize it as members of this country. Every 15 minutes, a woman is raped in this country. We cannot normalize it. And we're on record as the South African Policing Union. Firstly, there are quite a lot of issues. We do understand that some other issues and crime is societal issues, this crime that is between partners. But let's look at other issues. You have a challenge where a Minister of the Police is having issues with the Commission of the Police. That issue needs to be addressed. You have a challenge where police officers have been killed. 23 police officers have been killed in this same quarter. Where on earth have you seen a member of the police being killed and we say this is normal? Now, our issue here as South African Policing Union is that where is the leadership in the country? That is why we talk about a lack of political will. We have what you call organized restructuring in the police, where we, as the labor movement that is organized in the police, recognized and acknowledged by the police, SAPU is in agreement with management to restructure the police, to make sure that you take human capital, to put it on the ground floor, to make sure that there are members of the police who can deal with the crime. Up to today, November 2020, we signed that agreement. That agreement is not in implementation. Nothing is being done about it. We don't know what is happening. You have here a situation where we have on numerous occasions called for specialized unit. We said to the members of the management of the police, let's have specialized unit, let's have maiden robbery squad, so that when people are killed, you don't have a tax team that deal with a high-profile case. But each and every person that has been killed in this country need to be investigated, so that the police will be able to prevent crime, to detect crime, and if the crime is detected, you must have conviction. What you see there is only stats. I can assure you, come 4 months from now on, the minister will come again here and give you another stat. And if it's less than 2%, he said now these states are less than 2%. But how on earth you allow this kind of matters that are happening in this country? A lot of people have been killed.
Now, we will return to some of the recommendations that you make, but it's quite interesting that in your observation, you also cite a politicization of policing in the country, saying that this will give criminals an upper hand. Please expand on this.
Exactly. Criminals, this is how they operate. Firstly, they look how police have been treated. If you find your political leaders, those in leadership, who also criticize police, you know that police don't have a backbone. Police don't have those who can protect them. They are on their own. You start by killing the very same police officer. If you kill 23 police officers, what stops you to kill an ordinary South African? Secondly, you need to take the politics outside the police. What we are saying here is that the Minister of the Police must concentrate on oversight of the police. The Commission of the Police must be able to do the day-to-day operation of the police. And we all know, when was the last time you see the Minister of the Commission of the Police addressing members of the police, dealing with the crime of the police? It's not happening. We have up to today, we are told that the President of the country have informed the Commission of the Police to give him representation as to why there must not be a board of an inquiry for him to hold an office. What is happening here? A judgment that was issued in January, February this year. The President is relying on it. It's November now. We don't know what is happening. You have a commissioner who has the dark cloud on his head. How will that commissioner be able to run the service if he does not know whether tomorrow he will be the commissioner of the police or not? So we are saying that we need to take the politics outside the police so that the police will be able to run and will be able to deal with this issue. The issue of specialized unit. If you have a maiden robbery squad, this team will be dedicated directly to deal with matters in this country. Lastly, let's look into the budget. This year only, 11 billion was cut from the budget of the police. South Africans are quiet about it. Why are we quiet when you take 11 billion rands that you remove from the police budget?
Right.
What's going to happen to the human capital, that is human resource? All these resources are not going to be there. You have vacant posts currently in the police that you cannot fill because you do not have money. You cannot have this specialized unit because you do not have money. That is the challenge that you are having. So our expectation is that if there was a political will, the Minister of the Police would at least talk to his counterparts in the parliament and say, no, you cannot cut the budget of the police, because if you are serious about crime in this country, you need first to beef up the police environment. That is exactly what we are saying as the South African Policing Union.
So you've clearly articulated some of the concerns raised by SAPO, but it's quite interesting to note that SAPO is also a stakeholder in the police servicing. Just give us a sense of the kind of engagements that you have had with the authorities themselves in terms of the police minister. Has there been any engagement, or have you brought forward your recommendations to the attention of the police ministry?
We have done that. We have given our consent to the Commission of the Police. That is why today we have a restructuring. That restructuring is not taking place.
Right.
We have engaged the police minister to say we need to have this restructuring. We need to implement this restructuring fully. We have our other union that is also recognized, who is also the signature to the very same agreement. We wrote numerous letters to the president of the country, even to extent of saying the beef that is out in the public domain between the minister and the commission of the police is having a negative impact in the police, because people do not respect the police. Right. So we have already engaged all of them. But the political will. If somebody listens to you, understand you, but they don't have a will to make sure that they implement these changes, that is a challenge that we are faced with on a daily basis.
It's quite concerning, but has there been any response coming from the policing authorities?
The Minister of the Police have engaged with us. They have made promises, numerous promises, to say, look, I'm also looking at this recommendation. We have to look at it, because ours is more based on research. We are police officers who are on a daily basis on a ground level. We know what is happening on it. We always talk about the community, the relationship between the police and the communities. We have engaged the President. We said, President, let's look into this. Example that I just gave now. A judgment was issued in January. The President only in August said to the Commission of the Police, tell me why there must not be a board of inquiry. We said, what is the impact? Because this person has been in the office since January up until today. Why don't you at least look into the crime? If the President will call the Commission of the Police and say, let's talk about this crime. Why are we having women that are being raped in this country? Why are we having people who have been murdered in this country? That is the engagement that we want. We do not want engagement as to what is the camps in the police. Even in the police itself, we have your commissioner generals in the police who have aligned themselves. Those who know that the minister will maybe the commissioner, I'm sorry, they will be out of the police, and those who are also going to say, if he's out, then we'll have to have our own mandate in the police. So it creates a commotion between the management of the police, and that is exactly the challenge that we're having as the South African Policing Union.
Now, one last aspect before I let you go. You also spoke about one of the recommendations that you proposed being the reintroduction of the specialized units. I mean, this I can imagine is a direct response to the high incidence of murder as well as rape that we were speaking about a bit earlier on. How will this help?
It will help. Firstly, like I say, let's look into the budget, because as much as we can have this specialized unit, you need to have people who will be able to do investigation there. But currently the problem is, if somebody is murdered and is a high-profile case, you hear that there is a tax team, is a 72 hours turnaround strategy. But what about the dispatch that we see every day? These are the people where no one had to investigate their cases. How many women has been raped? It cannot be correct. 15 women, one woman every 15 minutes being raped. So if you capacity that unit that deal with the investigation of family violence and children, the child protection unit, if you make sure that you have enough human resources in that environment, it will be easy for them to concentrate, to specialize in that investigation. The DNA forensic department, you need to make sure that you have enough human resources in that environment, so that you are able to deal with not only stats, but you arrest a suspect, you bring the suspect before the court, and you have conviction. And only when you have conviction, this suspect will be in jail. But for now, you can arrest them. then what we see, we'll see that the police will come and say, we don't have enough case against this person, the person can leave. So your stats in terms of the arrest is useless if your state does not talk to convictions.
Always interesting speaking to you, Mr. Ntsime. That's SAPO's Mr. Peter Ntsime speaking to us there about the high levels of crime that we are seeing. Of course,